All right, a quick announcement. So I have a book coming out August 1st. It is a mystery novel. And if you have any interest in that book at all, you should sign up for my newsletter at danielpoppie.com/newsletter. And you'll be able to get more information on that book through there. All right, that is the end of my announcement. Again, sign up at my newsletter, danielpoppie.com/newsletter. When it comes to creative writing, I think one common piece of wisdom is actually incorrect. A single sentence should not be viewed as a complete thought. Welcome to How to Write Good. I am your host, Daniel Poppie. You can find out more about me at danielpoppie.com. If it is your first time here, How to Write Good is a writing podcast that seeks to find principles and advice that can be applied across a broad range of writing situations. If you've been here before, don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button below, and share. When I was learning how to write, I learned that each sentence is a complete thought. And I've also heard you should write word by word. But I think this is a misunderstanding of how we should approach writing. And I might even go so far as to say that this is a misunderstanding for how we should approach all types of thinking. Of course, I am very against slogans being your thoughts. I believe that when you think through how the world works and how the things work around you, the conclusions you come to should come after a long period of thought instead of a single sentence. So I might be biased. But for writing, I definitely think we should shift away from this idea of writing word by word or writing a single sentence by a single sentence. Instead, I think it is better to view our most basic unit of writing as a paragraph. You might be wondering why I think that, first off. When you are writing, what you are trying to convey is more complex than a single sentence. You are trying to convey an experience or an idea, etc. to the readers. And very few experiences, ideas, actions can be expressed effectively in a single sentence. As writers, since we are trying to express things effectively and in a way that the reader can understand them in the way we intend them to understand them, we want to make sure we are looking at the whole of what we are trying to express and write what we need to write to make the reader understand what we are trying to express. Let me explain this in another way. When we look at the different things we're writing about, it is difficult to express those things in one single sentence. So we need to express those things in paragraph form. Maybe we don't express the entire thing fully, maybe we just express part of it, but we still need an entire paragraph to express that part effectively. If we start to focus on the individual sentence, instead of having the broader idea in our minds, we are more likely to focus on unneeded minutiae. There are many different aspects to one thing or one part of a thing. We do not need to write about every single aspect to convey that idea to a reader. So when we are writing, we want to keep our focus on the larger idea conveyed within that paragraph so that we write only those things that allow that idea to be conveyed. This not only keeps us from overwriting, but it helps everything within our paragraph to hang together. And I believe everything in the paragraph fitting together well is essential to good writing. When a good paragraph is written, it circles around one particular aspect. This aspect can be a description of something. It can be an action. It can be ideas. It can be anything you want to write into your book. When we write a description in a paragraph, we are writing about a particular thing or a particular part of one thing. And if we go outside of that thing or that particular part, we need to break it off into another paragraph because we've gone beyond the bounds of what the paragraph needs to be. If we are writing about action, we show that action in a single paragraph. When we go beyond the bounds of that action or that idea of that action, we should be breaking into another paragraph because it does not make sense to the reader that we have gone beyond those bounds. The reader will be wondering what is happening. because whether you like it or not, that is how a paragraph works in the reader's mind. The reader expects a paragraph to circle around a central idea. And that paragraph, by circling around that central idea, reveals more about that central idea. Now let me be very specific again. This idea can be in the form of an idea, but it also can be an action. It can be a description. It can be whatever you're writing about. But make sure that entire paragraph is all hanging together so that your reader understands it when they are reading it. Now, when you're listening to this, you may be thinking, well, my ideas or the actions that are going to happen in my story are much more complex than what can be reasonably fit into a single paragraph. And the answer to that question is really simple. All you need to do is break down the actions and the steps within your story so that they fit into individual paragraphs. I think that this is something most people understand, that if they have bigger chunks, they need to break them down into smaller pieces they can actually handle. But for those of you who are having trouble with that, you might very well need to go through your writing and break down things into smaller chunks. For those of you who already understand this, the goal of this advice is that you look at paragraphs differently, is that you look at them as your basic unit of writing, because good writing is more than just good sentence connected to good sentence. It is good sentence making sense with good sentence to make a whole paragraph, and then good paragraph connected to other good paragraphs in a logical way that makes sense to the reader. One of the only areas in writing where this becomes very difficult to follow is dialogue. Though I believe you can take this idea and apply it to dialogue, because dialogue is a unique situation where two people are supposed to be interacting, I think you need to apply this in a different way. But you can check out my episode on dialogue up here, or if you're listening to this, you can find it in the description, and that will help you understand my approach to dialogue and how you can approach dialogue effectively and in a way that makes it lively and interesting. If you enjoyed this, you're probably wondering how you can support me. Well, you can actually do two simple things. Follow the first link below to grab a copy of my book, and then follow the second link and sign up for my newsletter. It's that simple. Those two things will mean the world to me and give me more time to write books and create content for you. As always, my name is Daniel Poppie, and this is How to Write Good.